All right. Another year done. What a fucking year, huh? I don't know about anyone else, but this year really kicked my fucking ass. And so I played some damn games. It was so bad. The year kicked my ass so damn bad, it even bled into the games. I lost my damn Switch. I lost my Steam account got hacked to like a point where I can't get that shit back properly. Oh man, what a year. But that's okay because I still play some really good games this year and I want to talk about them because I do this shit every year. In 2025, it's already looking to be a lot better. So I don't really care. So, the first game I beat, let's just get right into it. I beat Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. It's a game that came out, it's only on Steam. It came out a couple years ago. No, I think it came out I think it was 2023 that it came out. But it's an Ace Attorney fan game, if the attorney in the title wasn't obvious enough. And as someone who has now beaten almost every single Ace Attorney game, I just haven't beaten Ace Attorney Professor Layton. And maybe I never will. I don't know. I've heard just a lot of mixed things about that game, and it's a pain in the dick to play. But I've now, by the end of this year, I will have played every Ace Attorney game. So that means I was just looking for that Ace Attorney fix before Investigations collection came out. Even though I don't really have a problem with emulation. Like usually I didn't legally purchase. I did legally purchase. Guys, modding your 3DS, I would never do that. Don't listen to Nintendo. But then I played 5 and 6 Ace Attorneys by just modding, hacking the 3DS, and just playing ripped versions of them. So I'm not like above it, but I prefer the Investigations collections, and I prefer the collections. Anyway, I'm getting way the fuck ahead of myself. I played Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane, and I had a lot of fun with it. I actually wrote notes on it for the first time. I wrote notes down for like 3 games out of the 42 games this year that I actually beat, which is actually down. For the first year, I'm actually down because in 2021, well, in 2020, I only beat 19 games because I didn't give a fuck. In 2021, I beat 35 games. In 2022, I beat 43 games. And in 2023, I beat 45 games. But now, in 2024, I only beat 42 games, which is lower than 2022 by 1 game, actually. And yeah, that's, whoops, oopsie. I'm really falling behind on I still played a lot of games this year, and I'll technically be talking about 43 games if I feel like it. So, anyways, Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. First things first, I wrote here in my notes here, it says, need to have sex with Empress of Discord. I remember her being a bad bitch. I do remember that. I do remember this immortal demon lady that you defeat at the end. Yes, spoilers, by the way. I do this every single time. I just spoil a fucking game and then remember that spoilers. I really did put this in like I'm sorry to 3 people that watch these that want game recommendations. I'm already spoiling them. Just again, I'll put the list in the description so you guys can see if there's any games here you just don't want to fucking know about. That all said, Tyrion Cuthbert was a really good game. Honestly, since I beat it so early in the year, I don't remember it too well. But I definitely, it says here, I remember I like it more than the 4 Apollo Justice and Dual Destinies, which, I don't see as the greatest Ace Attorney games. I really like Spirit of Justice personally. And honestly, the more I think about it, I think it's better than Spirit of Justice, but I don't know. I really like Apollo Justice a lot. Apollo Justice is peak, honestly. It's so depressing. Anyway, this isn't even, I beat that all the way back in 2020. I don't know why I'm still, anyways, but the nature of Tyrion Cuthbert that I remember really liking is it's very morally gray. It really leans into what Ace Attorney only ever really like glances at occasionally. Hell, they don't even kill off the Menor character. Like usually when it's just like, okay, this Menor character too tough, right? We gotta kill off I guess they don't do that in Great Ace Attorney, but in regular Ace Attorney, they either kill off the mentor or have him be like the bad guy. But the mentor character isn't a bad person in Tyrion Cuthbert. She's just like trust issues make it so you can't really trust her anymore because she is doing some shady shit. And I think that's pretty baller. I fuck with that. And then, of course, ending the story with a what the fuck cutoff is peak. The main, you get to the first of all, first love interest in first like sidekick girl character introduced in one of these games, because this is how you know it's a fan game, because the not only is the secondary like assistant that you get introduced in this game the female assistant to attribute the male main character, not only is she of age, which is like, I don't know, that's always rubbed me the wrong way. Every time they introduce like a fucking character to like play off the main character, and then they like kind of also romantically like suggest that they're like romantically interested in one another. They're like 7 years apart age wise, and the girl is like 17. That always bugged the hell out of me. And I'm glad that this game doesn't even bother. They explicitly say that Tyrion Cuthbert and the girl are, I don't even remember her name, but yeah. I like that these. I mean, it's a visual novel. I have a lot to say about the fucking novel bits of it, I suppose. Also, fucking, this one dude looked like Leia Whitefang. I thought that was cool. I like Leia Whitefang. You're gonna hear a lot of Guilty Gear. I became a Guilty Gear Geatter, I guess, or whatever the fuck. No, that's terrible. Why did I say that? I should just kill myself for that. I shouldn't. Why did I say that? Why did Guilty Gear Geatter? Am I stupid? Why the fuck did I say that? Anyways, I need to hurry up because I think I'm already like a bajillion minutes in, and I've only got one game in. Mosa Lina. Okay, I don't have a lot to say about this game. It's not really a game you really beat, but I did like a cycle of it, I guess. I got to the point where the outer map like loops, and I mean, it's all it's all randomly generated anyway, so like, who cares? Fuck, I left my water. Oh, I knew I was missing something. I left my water. I'll be right back. Oh yeah. All right. We're peak. I got my water back, and now we're ready to roll. Okay. That's the problem with making these unedited by like deliberation, is that sometimes shit like that happens, and I don't think I'll cut it out, or maybe I will. Who knows? Yeah, so Mosa Lina, it's a randomly generated game, whereas like it has all these puzzles, but the choices it gives you to actually solve them are all random, and you kind of just hope that you can actually solve them. It's a fun little novelty of a game. It was sort of made as like a challenge, and it was gifted to me by my good friend Cloudhead, and so I can't say on my. Sorry, someone just sent me porn. That's very hot. Yeah, so Mosa Lina, it's a pretty fun game. I don't have a lot to say about it, really. I just thought, I mean, I beat it, so I liked it enough to beat it. A lot of this year, I did just play some games I just did not fuck with. And I was just like, all right, I'm not fucking doing this shit anymore. Bye. But yeah, Mosa Lina, I thought it was all right. Now, Arzette, the Jewel of Faramore. Now, this is a game. Arzette, Jewel of Faramore, fantastic game. I have been a CDI shitter, YouTube poop fan, as a connoisseur, if you will, a dinner diner, if you will. I enjoy the art of YouTube pooping, and to see that a game has just reverence for the CDI games and actually wants to make a good game out of it is fantastic. I remember being so fucking hyped for this game, and funnily enough, I can't say it's my game of the year because that will come a little later, but just in terms of like games I played this year, it's up there. Like, legit, I just had a lot of fun with this. Like, It doesn't capture the CDI vibe, which is like hard to do because the CDI vibe was made it's such as impossible to capture vibe where it's just you have all these like kind of rushed animation and very awkward stilted delivery and clearly rushed out that makes this impeccable cheesy vibe. And unfortunately, Arzette, try as it might, cannot capture that same vibe with the cutscenes. But it makes up for it by the fact that it has Yuri in exactly one cutscene, and it has a couple funny cutscenes. And Jewel of Faramore, baby, yeah. It has a cutscene. You have to go through a whole side quest to make a sword for the horse guy, and he really bangs on that sword. He really wants to upgrade that sword, and it takes him a really long time. And you can skip any cutscene in the game except for this one, and it's peak. That joke alone really was like, okay, yeah, this is great. And as once I realized that was all part of a side quest, I 100% of the game. Apparently, there's a secret cutscene you can get for getting all of the achievements, and I just have to trust people because I didn't fucking do that. I didn't like the game that much, where I got every achievement in it. But yeah, the nature of Arzette is such that it was a really good game and I enjoyed it, but I did not 100% the achievements. I did 100% the game. It's a Metroidvania and I enjoy Metroidvanias, so I did that. And also Vinny Vinesauce showed up, was very excited about that. It's always nice to see him and stuff, just for a little bit. I think it's good when he gets like a cameo and stuff. It's just like, oh hey, I know that guy, and it's not distracting because he's a good voice actor too. Like it's not like here's some guy who's not a voice actor showing up and it's very distracting. Like Vinny's a good voice actor, so he can do that shit. The other game I played, and I actually made a video about this game because I enjoyed it so much, was Infinite Craft. It's a little web browser game, and I beat it because I discovered a bunch of new words on it, which is you literally just take a bunch of concepts and combine them together and see if they produce a new concept. And you can take any concept you've already created from this web of concepts and you can make, and it's literally free. You can literally just Google Infinite Craft and just dick around in it. And I think I dicked around in it for like a couple of days. And I got down a whole rabbit hole of the mega blank that created a bunch of new phrases and such. I think it uses Wikipedia or some sort of algorithm, internet-based algorithm, to actually determine the words, because there's literally infinite crafting. But it's a really fun, novel idea for a game, and I really enjoyed the little fun I had with it. I feel like you could keep playing this forever if you really wanted to, and I can't do that. I've got games I want to play, and such as, in fact, this is a good segue here, Visca's Earth Quest. So if you immediately perked up at the sound of that, this is a barely disguised porn game, but it's also a very fun and well-made game. Look, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I like seeing some weird shit. I'm a weird guy. That's fine. And I like it. I'm a freaky fella, I suppose. And this is a game that's literally just giantess lady destroys the city and then the earth. And I mean, there's other bits around it like that. But this game, I actually did 100%. I did everything in it. And I really liked it. I thought this was a fantastic game. Even just like, again, even if you get rid of the whole giantess destroys the city, and then like as you grow larger, your boobs and ass also grow larger in proportion, and you get chubby too. Like, ignoring all of that, it is also just a really good and well-made little game for like, what was it? Like, I bought it for like $7. It's so cheap. And it goes on sale all the time. And it's a small little game. You don't have to spend too long beating it, but it's really good if you do put all the time into it. And it's got all these little secrets, and it's got all these little cute little bits to it that are really worth it. And I just really enjoy it. I just think it was a really good game. And It's got a cute little rat. It's got a cute little crab. It's got a cute little. It's got big booby robot lady. Yeah, it's got a lot going on, and I like it. I like it. I like Visca's Earth Quest. God damn. Hell, you know what? It came out in 2024. It's my game of the year. God damn, I liked it a lot. We'll see if that sticks around. I'm just feeling it right now. Speaking of potential game of the years, right after I played Pseudoregalia, which fucking ruled. I loved this game. Holy shit. Pseudoregalia is so goddamn good. It's like kind of insane how good Pseudoregalia is. It's just a 3D platformer that is inspired by Mario 64, and the fact that it actually understands the assignment. Usually I've been playing a lot of Mario 64 co-op mod ROM hacks, and they take up a lot of this list. You're going to see a lot of them down the line here. But just because Mario 64 is such an important game to me, and the way the Shmoo movement works in it, where it's not easy, but it's not hard. You can get the hang of it and eventually create some really cool combos and shit. But like Pseudoregalia captures that, where it's just like you have this really expansive moveset that isn't too expansive. Like you're not just throwing shit out and just leaping across the map and shit, but you can chain a lot of cool moves together to get somewhere. And I think that's I like that. It's hard to explain, but that is my go-to. I like this kind of game, kind of vibe for a 3D platformer specifically. Also, it's got a girl with a fat ass in it. It's the main character. I'm a simple fella. I see a girl with a fat ass, and I say, you know what? Speak. It's good character design. You know, very, very furry, but I can't judge here. I just like fat asses. You know, I'm here for it. You know, I fuck with you heavy, slaps the ass. Pseudoregalia, very good. I thought the final boss the fact that there's only 2 bosses in it, and you fight one at the beginning and one at the end, and they're just kind of whatever, is a little disappointing, I guess, but you know, whatever. It was a game made in like 24 hours or some shit like that ended up becoming a whole game, and they had to have some sort of story in it. And I like that you don't even have to do everything in it. I skipped a power up. I straight up missed a power up, and I still was able to beat everything. Like it's very Metroidvania in that sense. And what are the odds? I like Metroidvanias. Visca's Earth Quest is not a Metroidvania, by the way. It's more of a roguelite. But I like that too. So, you know, whatever. After Pseudoregalia was Pizza Tower: The Noise Update. Now, Pizza Tower is one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's in my top 5. I'm pretty sure. It's either that or it's number 6. I could check right now. I'm so stupid. It's number 6. That's right. It's number 6. Okay. So upon hearing that it gets a free update with a free playable character, you know, my ass was fucking on board. And I like the noise. He's really fun. It's weird. I think I like Peppino a little more just because I've been playing with Peppino longer. So, and the noise is like weirdly easier. Like he just trolls every level is slightly different in the sense that it's slightly easier with the noise. Like the noise he can't run up walls, but he can do everything better than Peppino can to an extent. Like he's a little harder to master initially, but once you get the hang of him, he's completely fucking busted. He can just fly. He doesn't actually respect the nature of like this world. Like he's just a complete gremlin. You could get an instant P rank on the Doys by refighting him because he's just dead for good, unless you taunt like 3 times in front of his roar. Why would you do that if you could just get a free fucking P rank just by beating him? That being said, I like the noise update. I think it doesn't hit as hard as Peppino's moveset. I think Peppino's moveset was clearly designed for these levels, but the fact that the noise also gets like that kind of shit for like, okay, the noise being a gremlin is great because the comedy style of Pizza Tower is enhanced by having the noise in there. Like in a 2 levels, you switch from Peppino to Brick and Gustavo, which are another characters that you get to play. Except instead of switching, you just switch to the noise again, and he has like one different moveset change that allows you to do. But like the idea of the noise that he's like everything packaged into one. He has all these little moves that he can do that make like your job easier, but while still missing a few things. So, like, anyways, I like the noise. I liked Pizza Tower. I still think the noise update is a fantastic. I didn't like P rank everything with Pizza Tower, the noise, but I think I at least S ranked everything because I like the noise. It's hard to. I just it took me so long to P rank Pizza Tower, every piece level of Pizza Tower, and unfortunately they didn't give like new achievements. It's not like they can't. When the Halloween update for Pizza Tower came out, they added new achievements, and my ass did both of those because I really like Pizza Tower and shit like that. And then the noise update was really good. I enjoyed it very much. And I'm just gonna set my status to offline real quick. And then yeah, so Pizza Tower noise update. Very good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice little addition. And it's free. It's free. They just added that shit for free. There's no DLC or anything. I would have gladly paid 99 cents for whatever for noise, but they just gave him for free. I really cannot complain about the noise. He was supposed to be in the base game, so I probably explains it, but they could have legit released it as 99 cents, and I think everyone would have been like, yeah, hell yeah, that's worth it. 99 cents. He even gets a new ending. Little ending cutscene. It's a different ending cutscene. Which is just nice. They didn't have to do that, but they did. And then Helldivers II. This is not really a game you can beat. It's live service. But I played it for a while. I played it on my girlfriend's account. So I played it for probably about 20-ish hours or something. And I enjoyed my time with it, but I don't know. Even before, like, obviously the whole PlayStation thing, like requiring the PlayStation account and shit, that really killed. I don't think I played it after that happened. Like I know they reverted it, I suppose, or they said they would, but I haven't played it since then, just because I liked Helldivers 2, and I like this kind of style of shooter, the whole PvE. I think PvE is a really good way to keep people like not frustrated, I suppose. Like, when you're working with other people to accomplish the same goal, I think it's more effective than if you're just fighting other people. At least I find it to be more fun. And yet, I really just thought Helldivers 2 was okay, I guess. Like, I played it because it was the game to play, and I enjoyed my time with it. But looking back at it, I just thought, like, I like the idea of this more than the execution. I really like the way Helldivers 2 treats the live service model. I like the fact that when there's a new enemy, you just kind of figure out that there's a new enemy. They don't like advertise it. You just be like, oh my god, this enemy can fly now. They fly now. Like, oh fuck, that's insane. That's a really good idea. And treating it like this big conquering of the map kind of thing is like a really fun way. It makes it feel like the global progress is also very important. And you get these little moments where it really feels like it matters. Like you're really fucking stressed and you're like, oh my god, there's no way in hell I'm getting out of this alive. And then you do, and it's like, wow, that's awesome. But it's just a lot to keep track of, and I just found it to be just not my thing, I think. Then Dead Rising 2. So me and Cloudhead, my good friend Cloudhead, have been trying to beat fucking Dead Rising 2 for like 2 years. We started playing it like a couple of years ago, and then we got like a little ways in, and we stopped, and then we tried again, and we got a little ways in, and then we stopped, and then we finally were like, this is it. This is the time we're going to actually beat Dead Rising 2. And then we did. And it's multiplayer. It was co-op. We played co-op. I like playing co-op games with like friends. Like it could just be 2 or 3 people, and I really fucking love that. And that's when I find I have my most fun in like gaming moments nowadays. Like when I was a kid, obviously, and I had more time, I could just play games by myself and enjoy the fuck out of them. But Dead Rising 2, played with my friend, and my good friend Cloudhead. Very much enjoyed it. However, I think it has a lot of problems. It's definitely not made with co-op in mind. It's just it feels definitely like a extra thing. Like, and here's the other thing, is that Dead Rising 2 is such an interesting game to me because I think it is it's a arcadey kind of game, and the story is all over the fucking place. I didn't really care, and then I did care, and that was pretty like I didn't care about the story until I did, and then the game. God, I'm just struggling to remember it. I guess God, I need to talk about Resident Evil 5 so bad. Oh my god. But just like, it's just because of the thing. It's just Dead Rising. So yeah. Dead Rising 2. I haven't played the first Dead Rising, by the way. I should clarify when I say that Dead Rising 2 is my first experience with Dead Rising. I know the Dead Rising remake came out this year, and I heard it was alright. I should play it probably. I do want to. Dead Rising 2 I did have a lot of fun with. It's definitely a very strange fucking game, just in terms of like the kind of game it expects it to be. And I really other than Dead Rising 1 and 2, I know Dead Rising 4 is like kind of bad, but I haven't really heard anything about Dead Rising 3. So Dead Rising 2 is just kind of my sole experience with the games, and it was kind of frustrating in points. A lot of the bosses are just kind of unintuitive to fight. You just sort of kind of brute force your way through a lot of these encounters. And there's good weapons. Like, crafting some good weapons to shred boss fights was fun, but I didn't find any of this shit out myself. I just kind of got my ass kicked, and then Cloud had looked up a guide, and then we figured out the boxing gloves are the best thing to do. And then we fucking shredded these boss fights like it was nothing. And also, every time you rejoined co-op in Dead Rising 2, you'd lose all your fucking weapons. Very sad. Did not like that at all. Kind of a pain in the dick. And also, there's really no lore reason why there's two Chucks running around. There just is. It doesn't really matter. I don't really care that much. I mean, they're different. They're wearing different clothes. But I just thought it was a fun game overall. It's just, and I think the fact that I did play with someone else made me like it a little more. I just think that I had a lot of problems with it, but I did very enjoy my time with it overall, and I thought it was a little satisfying ending. We got the best ending, which made me happy. And now, Plants vs. Zombies 2, Reflourished. This is a mod for Plants vs. Zombies 2. Now, Plants vs. Zombies is one of my favorite games of all time, and Plants vs. Zombies 2 could have been one of my favorite games of all time if it did not suffer from the EA-ification of Plants vs. Zombies, where it was filled with microtransactions. Like Plants vs. Zombies 3, I'll probably never play it. I don't care. I didn't play Battle for Neighborville. I didn't play Garden Warfare. I didn't play any of that. I just really like Plants vs. Zombies, god damn it. And Plants vs. Zombies 2 is so close to being at that level of the OG Plants vs. Zombies. And Reflourished is at that fucking level. Because last year I played Plants vs. Zombies Reseeded, which was a mod for Plants vs. Zombies 1. And that was a fantastic fucking mod, right? Where did I played... Yes, that was number 31 of my 2023 complete, was Plants vs. Zombies Reseeded. Fantastic fucking ROM mod for that game. And in the same way, Reflourished follows right in the footsteps of it. Fantastic mod, takes all the plants that were once premium fucking plants and just gives them to you for free. Adds the fucking Chinese exclusive Steam Ages as a world you can actually go to with remade models for the zombies and everything. And it adds extra levels and extra zombies and a lot of extra content. It is a fantastic addition, and I think it might be... If this was the regular Plants vs. Zombies 2, it would be better than Plants vs. Zombies 1. I could not deny. It's just the right amount of difficult. It's just the right amount of bullshit. Except for some of those bosses. Some of those bosses were very unbalanced. They throw a shitload of zombies your way and do not give you enough time to set up defenses. And those were the zombie bosses were the ones I ended up struggling the most on as I was just like cleaning up the game. Because like the best part is that since you can play a lot of it just in any order you want, I would just go from level to level and I just had this breadth of fucking content to do. It took me like a month to just do everything in the game, but I did everything in the game. And now I never want to touch it again because I am done with that motherfucker. Plants vs. Zombies 2 Reflourished was really good, and I don't really want to play it anymore. I had a lot of fun with it, but I am just done with it. I don't need to deal with Plants vs. Zombies 2 Reflourished anymore. I can just live my life knowing that I was happy. I was happy. I got to play the Plants vs. Zombies 2 I deserved, which is a better Plants vs. Zombies with more plants, more zombies, a lot of interesting challenges, and it is harder than Plants vs. Zombies, and that's good. I'm an older person now. I'm an older gamer now. I deserve more interesting challenges, and goddamn, those challenges, some of the later levels in Plants vs. Zombies 2 Reflourished are fucking hard, but fucking satisfying to beat. Honestly, this might be my game of the year. Like, just in terms of just the fact that it had me hooked for a month straight. Like, I would just come home from work and just play this. I wouldn't do anything else. And I just loved it so fucking much. It was awesome. But then eventually, everything must good come to an end. And it did. It did come to an end. And I really enjoyed my time with Plants vs. Zombies 2 Reflourished, the goated mod. I might play Ecclese one of these days. I've heard a lot of mixed things about it lately. Apparently, it's the developer's kind of a dick. But it is the other Plants vs. Zombies 2 mod I really want to play just because it does a lot of different things. Whereas Reflourished is just like, here's what Plants vs. Zombies 2 could have been if it was good. And then Ecclese is more like, here's my take on Plants vs. Zombies. Here's like a different direction Plants vs. Zombies 2 could have gone. And for now, I think Reflourished is what I want to play, but Ecclese might be more my speed later down the line. 11, Blasphemous. It's the 2D Dark Souls, as a lot of people call it, and I think it is a pretty solid game. Of course, I like Metroidvanias. I'm a sucker for a good Metroidvania. This is a good Metroidvania. And it's also not, like, brutally difficult, I guess. It's easier to get the hang of. I really liked the bosses. I really liked there's this optional boss who's a hot lady for, like, a second. I fucked with her really heavily. She was very tough. She was very optional. Like, I really did not have to do this. I thought I did. And so it took me like 3 days to beat her. But when I did beat her, oh man, it was good. I fucked with that boss. It was awesome. She's like this fire lady that's like hiding behind like a door or whatever. And her attacks are a bitch to dodge, and parrying her doesn't really do much. But beating her, actually getting around to beating her was so fucking worth it. Yeah, Blasphemous is not like I when I beat it, I remember thinking like, oh wow, I didn't get the true ending. That's okay. I'm just gonna move on to another game, which to me that means it was a good game. It wasn't a great game, but it was a good game. I really enjoyed my time with Blasphemous. I think the parry is really interesting because, like, sometimes you don't want to parry because parrying a really powerful attack sends you flying away. Like, it sends you launching away, and sometimes you just need to jump and dodge shit or slide to dodge something. And I think that's a very useful, like, okay, the parry is just one tool you have, whereas the slide and the jump are the other tools you have to deal with it. So yeah, Blasphemous was a good game. I liked it. And then me and 3 other people, my good friend Cloudhead, my good friend Kaze, and Cloudhead's girlfriend, Shani, my good friend Shani, played Halo Reach together. Now, at this point, we also played Halo Infinite later in the year, because that was the other Halo game I had yet to play. And that means that between Halo Reach and Halo Infinite being beat this year, the only Halo game I haven't played, mainline, I guess, I'm not counting like Halo Wars, mainline Halo game I haven't played is Halo 5, and I'm going to keep it that way, I think. I don't need to play Halo 5. It's kind of stuck on the Xbox. I don't got no Xbox. I don't really want an Xbox. I'm good. Halo 5 could just stay as is. But Halo Reach, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fucking cool. Obviously everyone talks about the final level where, you fucking just survive, like main objective, survive. And that is a really fun little experience to like get to reach, as it were, where it's just sort of like, how long can you survive this gauntlet after saving, keeping the people safe. And it was nice seeing Captain Keyes again at like a younger stage in his life, I guess. But yeah, and just watching this team slowly die is fucked up. It's interesting because Halo ODST and Halo Reach are so similar. They came out like one right after the other. And it's interesting that Bungie was just like, we're done with the story of Master Chief. Let's tell the story of two teams of like people that slowly died, or like you see what happened to them as like prequels to the existing things. And yeah, I find that super interesting. And I think Halo Reach ending with everyone dying is such like a little poetic ending to the OG Halo saga. Like, obviously, it's not everyone's favorite game. I didn't even play the multiplayer. I've heard the multiplayer is really fun for Reach, but I didn't play that shit. So who knows? But we'll see what the fuck happens. But Entropy Zero. Oh my god, Entropy Zero 2, baby. Entropy Zero 2. I played the first Entropy Zero last year, I believe, right? Yes, Entropy Zero V4, as it were. And I thought it was just all right. Like I remember beating it and thinking like, well, that was a fun little game, that was. But Entropy Zero 2, man, this shit's different. This is a huge jump in fucking quality, to the point where it's like, I could almost, this feels like the opposing force. Like how Half-Life opposing force was to Half-Life 1. This is Half-Life 2's equivalent. It really feels like almost official with how good it is. It tugs the heartstrings. It has a good story, and the voice acting is good too. Like, I mean, for a free fan game, this is really impressive. And obviously, my dumbass is a sucker for Portal. Portal 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. So making a Half-Life game that is just explicitly Portal related also is amazing. I fuck with that heavy. Like, I'm out here tapping my shit. Like, I'll fuck with you heavy, yeah. I really liked Entropy Zero 2. I liked the fact that it, again, does more with Half-Life than Half-Life has actually done. It's just like, it has the balls to be like, yeah, that's right. We're actually continuing the story of Half-Life. And I feel like that's a cool way of doing it. Like, honestly, if Valve is just going to keep fucking twiddling their fucking thumbs and never make Half-Life 3, then, like, because I guess making fucking casinos and gambling is more important to them or whatever, then fucking the fans should just do it. Like, who cares anymore? Just make some cool shit. That's what really matters. And Entropy Zero 2 is some cool shit, and I fuck with it. Speaking of Valve games, Aperture Science Desk Job. Now, my cousin has a Steam Deck. I don't have a Steam Deck. My cousin has a Steam Deck, and I went over to his younger brother, my other cousin, was graduating. So I got to see, I traveled all the way out to Illinois. What am I, from Britain? Illinois. And he was like, hey, do you want to play my Steam Deck? You want to check it out? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you should play Aperture Science Desk Job. It's like a 30-minute game. And I was like, yeah, right. 30 minutes. I suck at games. This will take me an hour. And then I was done with it in like 15. It's a quick-ass game, but it was cool. I fucked with it. I really liked Aperture Science Desk Job. It's so fucking cute. And here's the thing. So about Aperture Science Desk Job is that I was watching this video where someone was talking about how Portal 2 has this like wackier, sillier tone where everyone's like portrayed as an idiot, whereas Portal 1 is more like dark and serious. And they were talking about how like that makes Portal 1 secretly better. And I was like, actually, that just makes Portal 2 better. I already have the bleakness in Half-Life, and you can get that bleakness with comedy as a different tone to Half-Life. I think that's like better. Like, and there's this whole argument to be made that, Aperture Science existing in the same universe as Black Mesa is fucking insane, because it's like Black Mesa is the losing company to this absolute wacky man known as Cave Johnson. But I love that Portal 2 has the balls to just take place in the same universe as Half-Life. It's so fucking interesting to me because Portal 2 is so fucking crazy. And Albert Einstein's Disc Job follows that sense of humor perfectly. It is complete wackiness from start to finish. It's a comedy goldmine. Heck, fucking Cave Johnson shows up. I was very proud to see J.K. Simmons reprise his role. You know, I love me some Cave Johnson. Obviously, he's my favorite Portal character. Next to the Yuri they've got going between GLaDOS and Shell. And so yeah, seeing more of him was always fun. I like that out of all the people they get, is the most established voice actor of the entire cast. Is they just bring him back for a little bit. That's pretty fun. I like that. I like the little ominous chorus at the end there. That's pretty fun. Yeah, really did enjoy advertising. Not much to say, really. It's just a tech demo, but it's a fun tech demo. It's a tech demo in the same way that like Pikmin is a tech demo. And what are the fucking odds? Pikmin is one of my favorite games of all time. So funny how that works. I like tech demos. I think it's fun to make little tech demos. And then right after that was the Thousand Year Door remake. Now, speaking of my favorite games of all time, the Thousand Year Door is my second favorite game of all time. So of course I was going to fucking buy it when it came out. Like, no shit. It's the Thousand Year Door. And so, yeah, it's the Thousand Year Door. Of course I'm going to fucking, and it was good. I really liked it. It fixes a lot of the problems that I actually have with the Thousand, because the Thousand Year Door isn't perfect, but it is a fantastic game nonetheless. Its highs are so high that I can forgive its lows, and thankfully, Thousand Year Door Remake fixes a lot of its lows. It does add a low though that I'm not very happy about, but you know, it fixes the backtracking, a lot of it. It adds a place where you can actually try out your moves, so you can figure out which ones actually have stylish timing, so you can feel better about it. But some new lows it comes with are, it makes a lot of the challenge easier. Like, it's a much easier game overall, I think. Now, granted, that's okay, because I ended up doing a fucking all badge run where I just upgraded BP and nothing else until I literally couldn't upgrade it anymore. And then I was allowed to upgrade other things. When you do it like that, it's actually a really fucking fun game. I really fuck with it. And even then, once I was done upgrading BP, I just upgraded FP. Mario was stuck at 10 HP the entire game, and that was fucking awesome. I loved that shit. I could do like 2-shot bosses, but I could also get 2-shot. That was a glass cannon. I had to practice my fucking timing perfectly, which then I turned on the unsimplifier for, so that was even harder. But yeah, basically giving me an excuse to play Thousand Year Door again and do a different run is like just enough to make this a fucking fantastic game, easily Game of the Year contender. However, the one unforgivable sin is the menus are slower. That's it. That's the one thing. The entire game, the menus are slower. That really fucks with me. I don't like it. I'm just going to be real. That really fucks me. I love the graphics. I love the new bosses. I love the backtracking things that they've done to make it easier. I love all of that. I think it's fantastic. However, the menus are slower to navigate, and that pisses me the fuck off to no end. I can't say it's better, because at least the OG one doesn't do that. It's such a big fucking problem. Like, it seems so small and so insignificant, but it's a huge fucking problem. It really, like, you really just want to fly through these fucking menus, but it just, like, oh man, it eats away at you. But still, I mean, it's a fucking great game. I really liked it. Even though it was a problem, it's still a Thousand Year Door, dude. I still can't even believe it got a remake at all. And it's this good. Like, they could have really easily fucked it up. Like, they could have easily given Mario this weird, like, outline where he's, like, just a cutout instead of a bunch of pieces of paper, like I assumed he would. They actually change. I hope this is the style they choose going forward. It looks really good. This is the style for Paper Mario that I've always wanted. And it's crazy that it actually exists. Like, this dream style for a game actually exists. Kind of nuts. Fuck. We were Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, Big Catch Tacklebox. That's the one. Big Catch Tacklebox. This was the little indie game. It's not even out yet, like fully, and yet it is just in the little sort of demo alone. I put 10 hours into it, and that's not because it was like replayable or anything. It's because it was 10 hours of content for a free demo, and it's a good ass demo too. You know, a Big Catch Tacklebox reminds me of like Ape Escape, and also just kind of the sand level of Mario Odyssey in the best possible ways. As in, like, there's a real complexity to how you move around and catch shit. And unlike Mario Odyssey, a lot of the things you catch aren't like, because you're catching fish. They're not like, you know, fucking everywhere, right? Like, you have to actually find each and every one of them, as well as all of the currency. Now, I didn't get all the currency. I know there's like a secret ending where you can get all the currency, but that just seemed like a fucking lot of work. And I really didn't feel like it. So I didn't fucking do it. I didn't get all the damn currency for the Big Catch Tacklebox. I just let that shit fucking slide like it was nothing. It don't fucking matter. This shit don't matter. Yeah, so Big Catch Tacklebox, very Gucci. I like it. I can't wait to play the full game, because this is like, not only, first of all, there's also a lore reason why this is like a little free demo that's not the full game. It's different from the full game, because in this demo you play as like the rival character to the actual main character who's in the full game. That's fucking cool. I like when games do shit like that. Just give like a actual actual in-narrative reason why this shit happens. I think that's very valuable. I fuck with shit like that. I love games, man. I love video games. God damn it. I love video games. So, next up is the first of many Mario 64 co-op ROM hacks I beat, which was Beat Block Beatdown. Now, unfortunately, a lot of these I don't really remember, because I did play them all in quick succession. They were kind of short, but I do remember Beat Block Beatdown because it was a very simple premise. It was actually just a linear stage of beat block levels where it's from the Mario Galaxy 2 level where it just, to the beat, the blocks change. And this was a adaptation of that where, you know, the Beat Block Beatdown was like beat, 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 da 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 da, and it would switch. And it was just a bunch of levels of that. And we did it with me and my good friend Kaze did it with the Odyssey moveset, which made everything a lot easier, but also, like, I don't know. To me, one of the mods is the Odyssey moveset, which not only adds, like, all the shit from Odyssey, but just maps it on different buttons, and gives you just a shitload of options to traverse levels. You could just cheese most levels based on how it changes both physics, the Mario's physics, and also Mario's movement, where he can just run up slopes that would normally cause you to slide down. He can throw his cap, dive into the cap, and jump off the cap. He could do this busted-ass twirl move like it's Luigi from fucking Mario 64 DS, but he could just do it at any point in time. He doesn't have to do it out of a backflip or a triple jump. Like, it's kind of nuts how busted he is in this specific edition of his moveset. And yet I love it. I love being able to just kind of break it because it's my choice. You know, if I'm playing a Kaizo hack, and a lot of the ones that me and Kaze play are Kaizo hacks, they do actually, you know, require a lot of bullshit to do. But because it's stuff that usually you'd only be able to do if you're in the upper echelons of like Mario 64 speedrunning, where you just know all these little tricks. Like if you're a simple flips tier kind of player, right? You could do all this crazy shit. But because me and Kaze aren't in this upper echelon, like we know how to do a lot of the tricks. It's just kind of a bitch to do. Like I don't want to do firsties 5 times in a row just to climb up a wall, but I want the platforms to be a little like hard to do. And actually, by complete coincidence, this focus on Kaizo hacks while also having this busted ass moveset creates this really nice synergy where you really feel like you can skip a lot of the level, but it never feels too easy. Like there's a lot of things that really require you to lock the fuck in and try with this moveset, which is a lot of the problem I have with a lot of modern Mario games. And just a lot of modern platformers in general that are easy is they give you this busted moveset that like has a lot of expression, but they make the levels themselves really easy where like you can't just like it doesn't feel like you're really expressing yourself because it's so easy to actually use this moveset to skip most of the shit. But by having a game that isn't trying to let you break everything and is made for a thing, and then this moveset allows you to break it, it creates a really fun like series of platforming challenges. And some things you can't cheese with the Odyssey moveset. You have to brave through the fucking things. But that's where having co-op comes in, where you can cheese a lot of things with like the mild amount of interaction that co-op has, like being able to use the bubble to find secrets and respawn, being able to bounce off someone else's head to cheese some things that require like a more precise higher jump. It's all there and it's all really good. I actually really appreciate this kind of freedom that Mario 64 co-op approves. And like if anything, Mario 64 co-op might be the game of the year, just because like all these ROM hacks are really fun to play, and there's going to be a couple down the line. And this is just sort of me covering. So the next time I talk about one and I don't have something to say, just know that this applies to that. Just because we played it and it was fun, and that's all that really matters. But next up on the list is the Dead Space remake from last year. This is the first like big ass fucking AAA game I think I've played in a while that's like recently came out. I mostly stick to whenever recent AAA games come out and they're not made by Nintendo, I usually just skip them because they're usually like suck ass. And even Nintendo has like kind of a mixed track record lately where a lot of their games are just kind of baby booty mode easy. But this was a game I actually was really curious about because I've heard nothing but like really good things from at least the first two Dead Spaces. And so I was really curious to see if this Dead Space remake, because I'd heard also a lot of good things about it, and it changes a lot of the aspects of Dead Space. And all to say, it's really freaking good. Like I really liked it. I have always been a fan of this kind of like iterative thriller, survival horror. Resident Evil and Dead Space come to mind, where it's a third person shooter. But I remember I played, there's this iPad version of Dead Space I played all the way back when as a kid, and I was scared to fucking tears I couldn't fucking play it. And yet I did not really get scared to these Dead Space. But that's okay, because it was just creepy, and it was just it made me unsettled, and that's all it needed to do. I don't like jump scares very much. Like I think they're lame. I think a lot of people are starting to realize that jump scares are kind of lame. And so Dead Space 2023 not really scaring the hell out of me, but being very grotesque and ugly and visceral. Like I'm a big Cronenberg fan. I like me some creepy ass special effects. I love The Thing. I love The Thing by what's his name? I almost said John Romero. No, the fucking guy who made They Live and who the fuck? What is his fucking name? He's the guy with the mustache? He makes music. He made the Halloween franchise. Well, he made the first Halloween movie. I don't fucking remember what his name is. He made Escape from New York. Fuck. Whatever. It'll come to me later. But I love that kind of special effects, and Dead Space really fits in, and it has interesting lore. Like it takes itself seriously in a way that actually makes sense. And so all in all, the vibes are impeccable here. I think Dead Space just is like a story and a narrative, especially what apparently like after beating Dead Space 2023, I went back and watched a lot of footage from the first Dead Space because I'd never played it, the original first Dead Space. And I think this is better than the original. I mean, not just visual wise, obviously it's a fucking upgrade in the sense that it like looks a lot more gross and visceral, except for the final jump scare at the very end, which I think is a lot fucking scarier in the original. Like it's actually fucking freaky. And in the new one, it's just kind of a wet fart, I'm not gonna lie. But all the other things that people were complaining about this remake, I don't really see the problems here. Like people were saying, oh, Isaac looks fucking different. and uglier or whatever. It's like he's not supposed to be a fucking hot guy. I think he looks too hot. And I haven't finished Dead Space 2, but I start playing it. It'll definitely be finished by the 2025 listings. But Dead Space, fucking Isaac in this one just looks like a fucking average schlubby guy, and I actually like that. I like that he just looks like some guy. He's not like this big beautiful boy who is this like gruff protagonist. He's just some fucking engineer who's just trying to fucking survive in whatever way he can. And I like the way they portray Isaac as this just like guy caught in a bad situation and not this epic protagonist is that he is smart. Like he's a smart engineer, but he's not a fighter. Like he can, and these necromorphs are kind of weak in the sense that like, you know, they're necromorphs. They're not like the strongest things. They can kill him. He just also has all these tools that he can deal with them with. And I think that's a really cool way of contextualizing the setting you're in, because it really makes you feel helpless. And I just really enjoy Isaac as a character. I don't think he's the best character ever or anything. I just really enjoy him. And I like it follows. Dead Space seemed to have started this, but it follows the God of War trend where everything is one continuous shot. There's no real loading screens of it, especially in this remake. It's all just one very seamless map with invisible loading screens, and I fuck with that heavy. It never, like, obviously you can pause the game and shit, but like, you know, everything is contextual within the series itself. I like that a lot. That all to say, Dead Space 2023, very fantastic game. I highly recommend it. And yeah, I think it's better than the original. I think it adds a lot of cool stuff. And it really feels like a remake with a lot of soul, which I can't say about a lot of remakes. And it doesn't mess anything up that I really noticed. Like even the Thousand Year Door remake fucked up some things, so I didn't much care for that. But I really liked this a lot, and I'm glad I played it, and I can't wait to finish Dead Space 2 because I'm fucking with that a lot too. So we'll see what happens. And then the next two games, 19 and 20, were Super Mario 64 co-op games that I don't really remember that well. They were Super Luigi 64 and Super Spooky 64, but I remember enjoying them, so that's good. So if you're the mod creator and you somehow watch this, and you're like, oh man, Kiwi forgot about how good my ROM hack was. They must have not liked it. No, I liked it. And in fact, I think Super Spooky 64 is like a very short one. It was just a it was just a little run around and get like, I think it was like 30-star ROM hack, and it was very Nightmare Before Christmassy. I remember it being really fucking cool. I had to stop and take a sip of my tea real quick. Very good. Love my tea. Anyways, number 21 is Animal Well. We're halfway through. Animal Well was a really good game. I did not think it was a masterpiece or anything, but I like Metroidvanias, and I liked this as a Metroidvania. I like the fact that you can figure things out on your own. At least I was able to figure some things out of your own, and it does do that problem where when you don't figure something out on your own, and then when you see the actual solution, you're like, fuck, if I just experimented a little bit more, I could have found it, but I was an impatient piece of shit. And then I feel like an idiot. But figuring out stuff like you can jump on the Frisbee, and you can scale with the bubble wand pretty quickly. Like it's all of these little things, like if you know what you're doing, it makes the game like has this really good sense of discovery where one tool that you get doesn't automatically just have one use, and then that's all you can do with it. Like there are more uses to it, and the way you use the tool to sequence break and skip things is a very organic way to add difficulty and nuance and exploration into this game that is very lonely and doesn't have a lot of, like, it does have like a final boss and shit like that, but once you beat the final boss, that's like the first layer of the game. You know, you have to go back in and do everything. And I did everything, and I put that in air quotes as in I did all the achievements on Steam. That's what I do. If I like a game enough, I'll get every achievement in it. And I guess I liked Animal well enough that I got every achievement in it. Because I don't, like, I guess, what other games did I get every achievement in this year? I get Tyrion Cuthbert, but there's no secret achievements in that. You just have to beat the game to get every achievement. But Animal, I really did get every achievement in, and I felt pretty good about that, because I did enjoy my time with it. I don't think it's a perfect game or anything. And a lot of those, like, secrets that go beyond the achievements are just so esoteric and kind of a pain in the ass that I never really thought to do it. I did actually make like some notes about
some secrets. Like I did physically bust out some notes and write it, which made me feel pretty good. Like I felt like a genius when I figured out something. And I got one of the bunnies on the TV in the final area because I figured out like the correct location of everything. And that felt pretty good. But overall, I did enjoy Animal Well. I just didn't think it was like everyone was saying this was like the game of the year indie wise, and honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I could say that. My game of the year indie wise is a little different. I do have an indie game that I liked the most here, and that's not Visca's EarthQuest. I swear, I'm not just horny. There's an actual game that came out this year that's my favorite, but that's a indie game that is better than Animal Well. So, but I know I sound like kind of lukewarm about it, but I really did enjoy it. And then Mario 64 Co-op Eureka. Yeah, I don't remember this one too well either. I remember enjoying it though, so that's good. And then Super Demo 64. So my good friend Kaze, he commissioned a guy on Twitter to add the demo man into Mario 64. And then after like the guy made the model, me and him spent like a day adding, like modifying the voice clips in the files to modifying the voice clips to make an actual full Demo Man mod. And it's out. You can go find the Demo Man mod, and it's really cool. I really enjoy it. It even has a Visca variant, because in TF2, Kaze has a Visca, a Demo Man loadout. And so there's that version too, but there's also like the regular red and blue demos, and he throws his hat and everything. And it's all really cool and nice. And all that to say, the Demo Man mod is fantastic, and we beat the game. We just did a regular playthrough of Super Mario 64 with playing as a Demo Man, because his voice lines fit Mario so well. He's got a lot of yahs and woos and yahoos. And unfortunately, if this all works right, there is a file where when you beat the game, he says a funny line. When instead of "thank you so much for playing my game," he says something else that's really funny, and I won't spoil it. And I really hope the file worked properly, because I mislabeled the file while making the damn thing. And I think I fixed it before we shipped it out, but I'm not sure. But if I did, fix it. Go into the files and fix that. It's a typo. There's a typo. It needs to match. But if you can get rid of that typo, it's a really funny line at the end that really like makes the whole thing worth it. And we didn't hear it, and I was very upset just because it didn't register. There was a typo in it. But if you can fix it, it's good. It's good. It's peak. And then number 24 was the Jackbox Party Pack 10. I'm going to be honest. I don't remember a single fucking thing about this game. Like Jackbox, I like Jackbox a lot. I think there are like 5 or so Jackboxes that I'm just like, wow, these are fucking fantastic party games to play, and also Drawful. But also like there are other party games. It's not like I'm unfamiliar with other party games. Like obviously like Gartic Phone is probably one of the most top tier fucking party games ever made. And it's free. You don't even have to pay for it, which is insane. And yet, I'm struggling to remember what happened in Jackbox Party Pack 10. I'm going to be real. Nothing is sticking out to me as like anything particularly memorable, which really sucks, because like, I think it had that one YouTube poop thing where you can't delete any words. You just got to keep adding words and words and words and words and words to it, and then create something like a text message out of it. And that's kind of cool. But, that's it. I don't really remember anything else from it. So I do think the Jackbox Party Pack 10, I guess, just wasn't my thing, because I don't know. I don't like Jackbox games that are like fucking like Trivia Murder Party and shit like that. I hate those ones that are just like, here we make all the fun for you kind of thing, and you have to figure out the fun. Whereas the ones I like are the ones that like you just kind of make shit up, and it really depends on how funny your friend group is. It just gives you the tools to work with, and I like shit like that. And I don't think Jackbox Party Pack 10 really had a lot of stuff like that. That all to say, yeah. So then next up is Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Now I never played the original Battle for Bikini Bottom. I'm a big SpongeBob seasons 1 through 3 and a little bit of season 4 head. I'm a big SpongeBob head if you just count the original 3 seasons and a little bit of season 4. I think there's some magic in there. But everything after that, I cannot stand. I will give SpongeBob my chances. Every once in a while, I'll try to watch it again and be like, well, maybe it finally got better. Maybe they recaptured some of that magic. And they never fucking do. I just like can't like I obviously SpongeBob's a big moneymaker for Nickelodeon, so they got to keep it around. But I've never found anything after a couple episodes of season 4 to be anything worth my time. They're really not as funny. They're not as witty. They're not as cleverly written. They don't have anything to say about the world, and all the characters become super flanderized. And so SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, I knew it came out around the seasons 1 through 3 era of video games. So I was like, and they kept all the same voice acting. So I was like, oh wow, this is going to probably be a well-written game. And it really wasn't. Like the writing in this game, it got a couple chuckles out of me, but it's nothing compared to the super fucking tight writing of the OG seasons of SpongeBob, even though it did come out around the same time. And that's fine. It probably didn't have any of the writers of SpongeBob. And it was nice to hear a lot of the voice actors for SpongeBob sounding younger. Like you could tell in the older seasons that they're getting older and they sound a lot different. And that's fine. It's same with The Simpsons. You could just tell that after you do this for like 15 fucking years or however God that, like it's been like 25 years since SpongeBob's been around. It's fucking crazy that like it's been around as long as I have. And once you like these characters sound different. SpongeBob's like higher pitched in later seasons. It's kind of annoying. And they do a good job of keeping like the voice actors sound really good. Although this is Clancy Brown. He never reprises his role for Mr. Krabs in anything that's not like it was such a surprise when in like Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 when Mr. Krabs, they added Mr. Krabs and he actually was voiced by Clancy Brown. I was like, dude, did you pay this guy like devil's money? How did you get him to reprise? He never does this shit. And this is no different. The guy they got to play Mr. Krabs doesn't sound like Mr. Krabs at fucking all. Same with the guy they got to play Mermaid Man. Does not sound like Mermaid Man at fucking all. And they do this a lot. They really like to just fucking throw some shit around and be like, hey guys, here they are. But it's so hard to like if there's one thing I really have to give SpongeBob for, other than like everything else about it, is that the characters are so irreplaceable. They got like the perfect casting for everyone. And so when you hear literally anyone else voice these characters, it just feels fucking wrong. Like, I've never heard anyone do a really good impression of SpongeBob. Something about Tom Kenny. They just really found this motherfucker who can do this one voice that no one else can do well. I've heard a couple good Squilliam voices. I've heard a couple good Plankton impressions. But most of the fucking cast, I have not heard a good impression for. At all. It's so hard to do a good SpongeBob impression for some characters. And that all to say, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, I didn't even talk about the gameplay. I think the gameplay is pretty good. I think it's a serviceable 3D platformer. It wasn't a masterpiece or anything. I beat it just because I like SpongeBob. I like 3D platformers. And this was a game that someone had gifted to me on Steam after it was on my wish list. So I was like, well, what the hell? I might as well play it. And for what it's worth, it is a good game. There's a lot of little fun platforming challenges. I like a lot of the mechanics in the game. You can really tell when a 3D platformer has interesting mechanics when they create this thing that like you have to like it's something that has a lot of hidden depth to it. Being like how the tikis interact and how you destroy the tikis and the different characters you can play as. There's a lot of hidden depth there. It's just, it's also a SpongeBob game for babies, so it's not really hard. There are some parts that are kind of challenging. I'll give them that. Like, there's a lot of little secret missions that are really hard to do. And I think you can't even do them in a single sitting. You have to kind of cheese the game a little bit to get all the snowmen on the sand hill and stuff like that. But for what it's worth, it was a fun game. I just don't remember it. Like, I don't not remember it. I just don't think it was like a masterpiece or anything. Next up was Super Mario 64 Underworld. I actually do remember this one. This one is a very short ROM hack. You could beat it in like 15 minutes if you know what you're doing. But it has a boss fight at the end. It's really cool, actually. There's like lore that they introduce and shit. It's a fun little thing. You just kind of run around and do like takes on existing levels if it was all one big map and shit. And then you fight a boss at the end. But for a proof of concept, it's a fantastic use of Mario 64's engine to really make something feel special. So I got to give it props for that. So yeah, definitely play Super Mario 64 Underworld. Highly recommend that one. Then Mega Man X. Now I have the Mega Man, or I had it because my Switch got stolen with it in it, which was very fucked. So I can't play Mega Man X anymore. But I played Mega Man X and Mega Man X2, and I beat them both, and I did Basically everything in both of them. I missed one Zero part in Mega Man X2, which sucks because then I had to fight Zero and he was a pain in the dick to beat. But Mega Man X definitely has. I'll say this: the Hadouken in Mega Man X is such a well-designed secret weapon. I think it might be the best well-designed secret weapon in all of video game history. Whereas to actually get it, you have to go through a bunch of bullshit. And then once you get it, it's not like a fucking win button. You have to use it with skill. First of all, you can only use it on the ground. So you can't jump and shoot with it. Second, you have to do the quarter circle input. So you have to like pause for a second and actually do the fucking Hadouken input to unleash it. It takes a little second to come out and only travels straight. But you can also only do it at full health. If you even take a lick of fucking damage, you can't do it. But it one-shots every fucking boss and enemy in the game. And it is the most satisfying move to land ever. I think this might be one of the most satisfying moves to ever land in a video game. When you land the fucking Hadouken in Mega Man X, you feel like a fucking god. Like, you had to grind and work and struggle to make this fucking weapon even exist. And the conditions to use it are so insanely specific that you feel like as soon like you even take a lick of damage on the way to the boss, you feel like an idiot. You feel like the fact that the Shoryuken is also in Mega Man X2, while it's not as satisfying, and it travels upwards, so it's less useful, and you have to do the fucking DP input, which I could do the DP input. It's not a huge deal. It's just hard to get consistently sometimes. Whereas the Hadouken input, I don't think I've ever misinputted a Hadouken. It's so easy to input. But the Shoryuken input, the DP input, is a bit of a pain in the dick. So, like, you can fuck it up sometimes. And in Mega Man X2, I mean, you could still fucking clear bosses with it, and it's super satisfying to fucking land. The Moth boss, I forget his name. It's not Killer Moth. That's a Batman villain. But in Mega Man X2, you can just... I'm talking about both of them, by the way. I beat both of them. And I didn't beat X3. It was way harder. And then before I had a chance to actually beat it, my Switch got stolen, so I'll probably never beat it. And I didn't even like it that much, honestly. Mega Man X3, it's just like hard for the sake of being hard. And every enemy does a shitload of damage to you. It feels like you're playing on hard mode, like, at all times. And the upgrades you get feel like lesser than X2 and X, and that's fine. I don't mind a harder game. I just like, I don't know. I wasn't fucking with it. It didn't have that nice difficulty curve that X and X2 did. Whereas, like, there are just some bosses in it that are just like bullshit to deal with that aren't really well designed. And you could tell it was made by a side studio instead of the OG one. So I never played anything after X3, and I probably won't because I just heard the series takes a nosedive after that. So I'm glad I played X and X2 because they're fucking amazing games. I think X1 still just a hair bit better just because I like the Hadouken more, which is crazy to say. But the levels themselves are fucking fantastic. I really have no problem with X or X2. I think they're fucking fantastic games. I think having the dash right at the beginning of the game of X2 is just like super helpful too. And being able to air dash really helps. But Mega Man X, I did play that as a kid, and so it does have that sauce to me. But both games are fucking phenomenal. And I love that X2, you can tell that that's when Capcom figured out how to do like 3D graphics. They love their fucking 3D graphics in that game. The final boss is 3D graphics. There's like a sword boss you fight twice that's 3D graphics. There's a lot of these like early 3D ass graphics for this Super Nintendo game. And it looks fucking fun. I like it. Next up is Halo Infinite. Now, I have interesting opinions about Halo. I am a huge Halo fan. I played the OG Halo forever ago. It was one of the first It's the first FPS I ever played was Halo, the original Halo, because it's my dad's favorite FPS, and he was like, you're gonna play Halo. And he doesn't even play video games anymore, but he was like, I'm gonna set your ass up good. You're gonna play Halo. He had it on his old Mac computer. I played it. I loved Halo Combat Evolved. Fantastic fucking game. And then it wasn't until I think 2022. Yeah, 2022. That I finally played Halo 2, and I loved it. I loved Halo 2. And then I finally played Halo 3, and I loved Halo 3, and I played ODST, and I loved ODST, and I played Reach, and I really liked Reach. I think ODST and Reach are definitely weaker, but, I mean, that's fine. They're still really interesting games, and I really like the approach they take. And then Halo 4, I thought was kind of fucking lame, honestly. I thought, like, I appreciate the graphics. I think honestly, people are like, oh man, the graphics look fucking stupid. No, I think that they're a different interpretation. They look fine. I have no problem with Halo 4's graphics. But it was nice seeing Master Chief back in his old gear and in Infinite. And I do like the grappling hook. I think it's like every good game. You can tell a game's good when they're just like, yeah, let's give you a grappling hook, and let's not just give a grappling hook, but have the momentum of the grappling hook matter. When you can chain shit with the grappling hook, like you can chain grapple jumps and shit, and you're just like zipping around the goddamn level and pulling things towards you and pulling yourself towards enemies, and you feel like a fucking god, and it feels really nice. And it's crazy that this like one change made Halo like fun again to me, because I did not really care for Halo 4's changes. I think like the weapons they added look really cool, but are just kind of meh. I can't even remember a single name for them, but I love all of the weapons from the first 3 Halo games. And Halo Infinite does have a lot of those weapons, which I just kind of don't really remember all that well. Like, of course, you got your classics, the plasma pistol, the plasma rifle, the assault rifle, the 3-shot one that's like really busted and can headshot that everyone uses. It's the UNSC weapon. I forget what it's called, but it's a really fucking good weapon. It's got all the classics, it's got the shotgun and shit. It's got the rocket launcher. And this being an open world Halo is interesting because, like, first of all, they really tried here. I can't say this was like, they just threw some shit there and were just like, oh, we'll just call it a day, blah, 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 it don't matter. They really tried to make an interesting game here on par with the originals. I just think it's missing that sauce that the OGs had. But I have to give Halo Studios, they're called Halo Studios now, I have to give them credit for actually trying. They really did want to make something good here, and they really did try their hardest. There's a lot of talented people here. This was not a cash grab like a lot of people are claiming it to be. Even if the game was poorly received and definitely needed more updates. I think that's Microsoft's fault, personally, as to why the game like fell short multiplayer wise. And I did play some of the multiplayer a couple years ago, and I did enjoy my time with it, but I just don't think Halo multiplayer is for me anymore. It's fun. It was fun for, again, I must have played it for like 30 hours, so I definitely put time into it, but I find myself coming back to TF2 more and more often, so TF2 will be the game for me for the rest of my life, I guess. TF2, man, it's so good. But all that to say, Halo Infinite is a very, okay, I'll say this, I like Bip Bap. Bip Bap, he's one of the bosses. He's like a grunt. He's the only, because there's all these bosses and they're like variants of like regular enemies. Like you got like boss elites, boss brutes, boss stuff like that. And this is the only boss grunt in the game. And I love that. I love that there is a boss grunt in this game named Bip Bap, and he just sucks. I love him. He's so fucking funny. Me and all my friends, we played together because I played with my good friend Cloud and my good friend Kaze, and my good friend Cheney. All the gangs that I played Halo Reach with, we played Halo Infinite together because it's 4-player multiplayer. And I could honestly not see this being fun without multiplayer. Like, I could see Halo Infinite being fucking boring, but with multiplayer, it does make the game a lot more fun. There's a lot more goofy shit you can get away with. You can tether onto other people with the grappling hook and chain grappling hook shits together and like climb up shit again. It's a very fun little, like, it adds a lot of depth, even though it does make the game a lot fucking easier. If we were playing more seriously, we could have made the game a lot less fun, but because we were just dicking around, it definitely made the game more fun. So I appreciate it for that. I definitely think by having the game be sorry, I'm just losing my voice real quick. Thirsty. Having the game be more multiplayer oriented, even though it took them like a fucking year to add multiplayer in for some fucking reason, even though it was already kind of in the game. I guess they just didn't playtest it or something, but I'm glad it eventually got added, campaign multiplayer, because it was probably the ideal way to play Halo Infinite's campaign. That being said, I don't think it's worth $60. I mean, it looks like $60 of game, but it's really not. It's a lot of repeated missions and a lot of repeated bases and a lot of repeated assets, and there's not really a story. Like, I mean, they clearly wanted to make it a live service campaign where there's more campaigns later, but we never got them, so, we never even fight the main bad guy. He shows up, presumed died, and then just shows back up at the end like, yeah, I'm alive, and then we never fight him. He looked cool, I guess, but we never fight his ass. There was a bad bitch in it though. There was one of the forerunners was like a fucking hottie with some nice thighs, and I liked that. Um, you know what? Honestly, and I liked the pilot guy. He's like the third wheel. You have Master Chief and you have Weapon. That's her name. Not Cortana. Weapon. Cortana is there. Like her, I don't really know what happened in Halo 5. I guess she went rogue or something. But Weapon is. They have some nice banter, I guess. There's like a little arc Master Chief and Weapon go through, and Master Chief feels in character, even though they're giving him more like shit to do. Like it's weird because in the OG Halo games, he just sort of like he goes somewhere, he does some shit, and he's done. In this, he has like dialogue, like more dialogue to say and shit. And that was also the case in Halo 4, but Halo 4 still felt like he was going somewhere and doing some shit. And this feels a lot more like he has like a stake in the story that's very personal. That's not just like I have to save humanity from this plague, the next big threat to the galaxy or whatever. And I liked that actually. I know that's a very contentious topic. Is should Master Chief have like a character and shit, and especially the Halo show being like bad made me not really care for the idea of making Master Chief anything more than like a stoic like Gordon Freeman kind of protagonist. But well, although he can talk. That all to say, I enjoyed my time with Halo Infinite. I don't think it's like amazing or anything. Now, a game I did enjoy my time with was Guilty Gear Xrd, baby. Let's fucking go. Guilty Gear Xrd. It's fun as hell. I enjoy Guilty Gear a lot. I've put over 100 something hours into Guilty Gear, probably 200 hours into Guilty Gear Strive. That's just because that's all the ones my friends play. I think Guilty Gear Xrd is also a fantastic game though, and I don't really get the like. People will swear by Xrd or swear by Strive or swear by even like XX Accent Core and shit like that. And I have to just say, like, they're both really great games. I don't think that one is particularly better than the other. I think they like obviously if you want a more complex game, you play Guilty Gear Xrd. But if you just want to like have fun with friends and play some interesting matches where everyone feels like they're at a decently equal skill level and having fun, and you could just throw out some bullshit and see if it works, and you don't have to be like super complex, and you can just kind of fall into some motions and shit. Guilty Gear Strive is also really good, and it does have a lot of nuance. And I do think the most recent patch of Guilty Gear Strive definitely did change a lot of things that I didn't like, but they seem to be reverting a lot of it, so that's good at least. At least they're listening to the community feedback. Like, I think keeping Kara cancels is fine. I don't really see that as like a thing that people struggle with. Just do the Kara cancel. It's really not that hard. It gives you like a slight advantage in battle, but Kara canceling isn't like, it just makes options a little safer. Or connect a little easier, but you can still dodge all these options. If you're getting caught by Kara canceling, it's not like a be-all, end-all, just fucking dodge the move forehead. Like, I don't see why it's such a big deal, but they're adding them back, so that's good, at least. But specifically, I want to talk about the Xrd Story Mode, the Xrd Story Mode, because this story mode is fucking nuts. So Guilty Gear is so strange because it takes itself so seriously, despite being so fundamentally ridiculous. It is a series where like every motherfucker is insanely powerful, and they have to save the goddamn world, and there's all this big deep talk about what it means to be human and what it means to be societal. It's very like forward thinking in a lot of those ways. And then they have this C story at the very end that is just a plot of all the side characters trying to figure out like a fucking Scooby-Doo ass mystery of who took a lick of cake from the big celebration cake after everything is said and done. And it is so stupid and so ridiculous, and it has nothing to do with anything else, and it has the most insane fucking ending that I've ever seen a fighting game story have. And it's very interesting because you don't actually play anything. You just watch the cutscenes play out. There's no like gameplay intermixed with story mode here. It's just an animated cutscene. But I found myself decently interested by it. I still need to watch Strive Story Mode. That is next up on the docket is watching Strive Story Mode. I got a little bit into it. I find it decently interesting. I like Eno. She's a bad bitch. I'm glad she shows up more in Strive. But this girl they got who turns into like the Joker halfway through Xrd Story Mode is also really fun. I liked her too. I like Sin Kisk. I think he's fun. I like Dizzy. She's cute, even though she barely shows up. I like Slayer. I like the Waluigi guy. These all these characters who show up and are like completely fucking busted, and they do like one thing in the story and they just fuck off and they're never seen again. And that's fine. I don't really care. All the Guilty Gear characters are so much fun to dick around with. and just interact with. And Guilty Gear is what's keeping me like. I think I was never crazy about like traditional fighters. I especially like I like Third Strike a lot. I think Third Strike's really fun, but a lot of these games are just kind of not my thing. I guess I think that a lot of them are kind of slow or meandering. And I like platform fighters a lot. I know. Oh wow, you like platform fighters and you like Guilty Gear Strive. Wow, what are you, white? Yes. I'm sorry. I admit it. But I just didn't find. I found myself kind of bouncing off of like Street Fighter 6, even though I gave it an honest try. I don't know. Something about Guilty Gear really sticks with me though. Guilty Gear Xrd and Strive and X and Core. I'm trying it out and it's pretty fun, but I don't know. It's so loud. The sound effects kind of suck in X and Core, and you have to like turn them down. I don't really like the sound effects, but everything in Strive and Xrd, I found myself just like quoting it. I'm like autistic for these games. So Xrd really fun. Guilty Gear Strive is also down here in number 36. I'll say a little bit more about it when I get to it, but yeah. Next up is Ace Attorney Investigations and Ace Attorney Investigations 2, 31 and 32. I love these games. I think these are the top fucking echelon tier of Ace Attorney. I can't fucking believe it took them this long to port these because these are like masterpieces. I know people think Ace Attorney Investigations 2 is way fucking better than Investigations 1, but these games actually merge the investigations and court gameplay. That was my biggest fucking problem with Ace Attorney, is that it always felt like there was this fucking disconnect between the actual hype court segments and then like the wannabe fucking hype investigation segments. Like occasionally you get a really high moment in investigations, like when Manfred von Karma tases you, or in the fucking in Spirit of Justice when you have to escape a cave that's filling up with water and shit. Like, who put these lawyers in these fucking situations? You know, Ace Attorney's ridiculous, but it never felt like the investigation stakes were super high, even in court cases where it felt like the stakes were insanely high. And I just always found them to be like, well, we're kind of running the motions here on these investigations. Like, you learn interesting things, you can't wait to use them, but it's always like, okay, the high points are the court cases, the low points are the investigations, and I just had to accept that. And now here comes Ace Attorney Investigations, which I'm thinking like, wow, this is all investigations. Like, it's all just, there's no court cases. This sounds boring as fuck, and it's the best one. These are the best games, straight up. They're the best. I love the way they seamlessly integrate court shit, and it feels like you're constantly on fucking edge, especially since you're not in the courtroom. Real shit can happen. Miles Edgeworth gets kidnapped. He gives up his fucking license in the second game because he doesn't believe in prosecution anymore. He's become more like Phoenix Wright. It's such a good arc for Edgeworth to go through. I really love Edgeworth in these games. He's quickly become my favorite character. Him and Dick Gumshoe have become my favorite characters because of the way they are used in these games. Gumshoe is used actually surprisingly sparingly for like Edgeworth's assistance in investigation games, mostly because they want to make Kay Faraday like the Maya Faye of the series, and so they have to give reasons why Gumshoe can't always be around Edgeworth because he's dick riding him constantly. But when they do use Gumshoe, it's like he goes from incompetent, and then he has a really important competent moment at the end of both games. That's so important, and I really love Gumshoe. Again, these are about the stories. These are about the characters. I really love the characters in Investigations, and I honestly really like Ace Attorney Investigation 1. Obviously, Ace Attorney Investigations 2 is like fucking peak. I love the characters they bring back in Investigations 2. It doesn't feel like fan service at all. It feels like perfect. Having Frank Saw It, I was so fucking hyped when Frank Saw It showed up after not appearing in the series since Ace Attorney 1. I love the fact that fucking Shelly the Killer shows up and has like a fucking boss fight with another fucking like big powerful dude. It feels like so insanely powerful. I just really like Shelly the Killer. He was my favorite guy to investigate because I love the way that he doesn't emote, so everything around him has to emote for him, and that meant that in Ace Attorney 2, when you have to when you have to like press him on the stand, it's just like the radio has to emote for him, and in this instance it is his ice cream that has to emote for him because he has ice cream and it melts when he's like sweating and shit. It's so fucking good. I love Shelly the Killer so much. He's so funny. So it's really nice to see him again, and a lot of the new characters too I really enjoyed. I actually really fucking liked Cursus Alba, the main villain of Ace Attorney 1. This might be a hot take because I know people like hate his ass because his investigation just goes on forever, right? As it seems like it's about to wrap up. But I kind of liked that. That was fun. I got to sit down with my girlfriend and we get to go through it together. And I was just like, man, I got work tomorrow. I sure hope that this investigation is over before I have to go to bed. And I remember at the end we were just like skipping through the fucking dialogue. But it was fun. You get to voice the characters and you get to have a lot of fun. Ace Attorney is just fun to voice characters because everyone's so silly, but the situations are like fucking murder, so they're actually the tension is high. So yeah, Ace Attorney Investigations, I love those games. They're, I think, obviously, I think Great Ace 2 might be just a little better than Ace Attorney Investigations 2, just because I really love Great Ace 2. But it's crazy how the Ace Attorney spin-offs are just like so fucking good. Like, I think the ranking went Ace Attorney 1, I think it was Great Ace 2, Ace Attorney 1. In fact, I can find it real quick. Okay, I found my list. So my ranking now that I've played all of them is Ace Attorney Investigations 2 is number 1, subject to change. It's very recent, but I really fucking love my time with it. Then Great Ace Attorney 2. Then Ace Attorney 1. I actually really love Ace Attorney 1. It's short and replayable. I think I've replayed it the most out of all the Ace Attorney games, which is like the only one I've actually replayed. But I just really enjoy it. It's nice and sweet. Though I do think the final case drags it down a little bit because it's so fucking long. But you know, fantastic. And then Ace Attorney Investigations 1, I really like it. I love it. I just, gameplay alone makes it so much better than all the other ones, but I think really like, where I've always just found there's this disconnect that I couldn't quite get over. Great Ace Attorney 1, right after that. And then Ace Attorney 3, then Ace Attorney 4, then Ace Attorney 6, Ace Attorney 2, and then finally Ace Attorney 5. And I don't hate any of these games. I just think that that's my ranking for them, as in the best one is Ace Attorney Investigation 2, and the least good one is Ace Attorney 5, in my opinion, personally. So yeah, that's one of these days I'll probably play Leighton, and hopefully they make another Ace Attorney game. I feel like with all this Ace Attorney hype, just make another one, Capcom. Like, I know you guys hate making some franchises stick around, even though they're big and have like huge fan bases and shit. Even though you still just make single player games, like it's not like you've like bit the bullet into like massive multiplayer online games or whatever, like, or like live service games or whatever. Like, you still will make single player experiences that kick ass, like Resident Evil, and I mean, you guys are they're literally making a new fucking like IP this year, which is like pretty rare for Capcom as far as I'm aware. I can't remember the last time they did something like that, but when it comes to some franchises, they'll make a really good next entry to it that just like everyone is beloved by so many people, and then for other franchises they just really like you might get a game in 5-ish years and maybe a re-release of it or something, but yeah, fuck you, bye. So yeah, that all to say, Ace Attorney Investigations, I loved it. Next up, The Plucky Squire. This game, I was looking a little hype for. It is not the indie game of the year, by the way. It has a lot of problems. It is very fucking easy. It is very easy. I don't think I died a single time in this game where it's possible to die. I don't think I even saw the game over screen once. It's so fucking easy when you're like a veteran Zelda player like I am. But that all to say, it was so much fun. It's so charming. I love this game so much. The biggest thing holding it back is that apparently it's also very buggy. Cloudhead's playthrough, my good friend Cloudhead, his playthrough was ruined by a lot of bugs, which thankfully I didn't experience. I played on PC and he played it on PS4, I think, so, or PS5. So I feel like it might be more optimized for PC. But I love the 2D art style. I love the 3D art style too. It's such a again. I'm thinking it's one of those Day of the Diver situations where it's not as indie as we say it is, because it's like, this game looking this good is very suspicious. Like, it is like, guys, how did you allocate the budget this well to create visuals this beautiful? Like, it's both hand drawn and 3D. Yeah, right, fellas. Okay, I'll believe it when I see it. But yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed this game. I think it is, again, it's not perfect. Its story can be bland. Its story is bland until it isn't. There's a little moment where the main villain takes over the book, and the story becomes a lot more interesting. I appreciate it for that. Yeah, the game itself is just like a good little fun bit. I enjoy it. What's next here? We got Mario Co-op Star Revenge 7. I remember this one being kind of difficult and long, but I remember enjoying it. Same with the one after, which is Lug's Delightful Dioramas. I enjoyed that one too. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, both of these I beat these next 10 games I beat in a single month. I was gaming last month. I don't know what the fuck happened. But yeah, so both of those games I beat, and then I put Guilty Gear Strive on here. Obviously, I think I've played through it enough that I consider I beat it. Obviously, putting several hundred hours into it. And what else to say? It's Guilty Gear Strive. It's fun. I enjoy. I'm a Leo Whitefang shitter. I play Leo Whitefang in both Xrd and Strive. He's fun. I love Leo. I don't even like Guile like charge characters that much, but Leo Whitefang is different to me. He's a stance charge character that immediately makes him infinitely more interesting than any other charge character. Just because of like the way that his stance infuses with his charge status. Like the fact that you can't crouch in backturn stance, so you can like hide your DP inputs when you're doing, because like you can just hold down and no one will know that you're charging a DP. They just have to guess, and if they guess right, then they could block it. But otherwise, you could just instantly throw out a fucking DP whenever you want out of backturn stance. It's so much fun. All you have to do is immediately hold up, and you could just throw out a safe, invincible deep reversal. I love it. It's amazing. I hate the DP motion, so I love the charge input for DPs. It's so much fun. It's so toxic, probably, but like, who cares? I really like Leo. He's fun. I also like Bridget. Obviously, Bridget is what got me into playing the game. I wonder why. Gee, but Leo kept me around. Leo's fun. I even bought the DLC and I don't even play a DLC character. It's crazy. Well, I guess he was a DLC character in Xrd, but I mean, by the time I played Xrd, you could just buy the latest version, so it doesn't really matter. But in Strive, he's base roster, and I like him. I like him in that. And then after that, Rivals of Aether 2. So I've probably sunk about 50 or so hours into Rivals 2. I play it with some friends occasionally. That's how I mostly play. I don't really play online. Something's up with the Rivals Online for my computer where it just doesn't work a lot of the time. It has mad lag spikes. But I play with some friends, and I love Rivals 2. I'm a Crag guy. I love Crag. He is so much fucking fun to play. Crag is like everything I could ever want from a Smash character, just put into one. He's got zoning tools. He's got like he's really heavy, so he could take a fucking beating. He does a lot of damage, so he can deal that beating back. He's got good survivability because he can just create a platform whenever he wants. But that also comes with its own. He has very nuanced recovery options, which I really enjoy. Like I think Rivals 2 is what Smash Ultimate should have been. Just like obviously like duh, like, but I mean just like it plays like Melee, but it also plays like Smash Ultimate, and that's great because Melee to me is a really fun game that's just janky sometimes. To like its detriment, but Rivals of Aether 2 is really fun. I really enjoy it, and I want it to keep going. I know they're adding more characters to it, and it would just be sick as hell if I ever made a game, one of my characters would get in Rivals 2 or Rivals 3 or whatever the fuck they do after this. I hope Rivals 2 never runs out of. Because like the original Rivals is very fun, and I think the workshop gives it like a lot of staying power. I can't imagine how you would workshop characters into this game without putting like hours upon days of your fucking time, because the game is so much more complex and visually complex, and it uses 3D models and shit, and yet they make it all work. It looks very visually distinct, which is really it's a hard bar to clear for indie platformers. A lot of 3D indie platformers, they don't look great. Honestly, it wasn't until Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 was like, damn, 3D platformers can look this good. 3D platform fighters can look this good. That aren't Smash Ultimate, which also looks really good. But I mean, Nintendo, they make games look good. I don't think there's ever been an ugly Nintendo game that I can think of in recent memory. They just make games look good. Maybe Luigi's Mansion 2 HD kind of looked not great compared to Luigi's Mansion 3, which was one of the best looking games on the Switch. But you know, Nintendo, they know how to make games look good. That all to say, speaking of Nintendo, Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom. By the way, Rivals of Aether 2 is my favorite indie game this year. I love it to fucking pieces. I think it's fantastic. I wasn't even a fan. I don't like the Battle Pass, but I like the fact that you could basically just get everything for free in the Battle Pass if you just play long enough. Like, you could just get what you want, but you could really just pay money for it if you want. Like, it's I don't like battle passes. Obviously, you got to make money somehow. Games are getting expensive. I don't blame the Rivals devs for doing that, considering how tenuous the Rivals 2 development was, especially since it came out this good. But yeah, I really hope that especially since all the DLC is just free, you just get new characters, which I think is like a nice way of doing it. To me, the only way to add DLC fighting game characters is to make all of the fighting game characters free in training mode so you can actually properly play them and figure out their weaknesses and shit and play against them, or just make them free. Like otherwise you're essentially gating people, not behind like a DLC character that's skilled, like not because like, oh, the character is like better than other characters. It doesn't matter if the character's worse, but you're going up against a character you don't know how to fight unless you get lucky and face one of them in bracket or on a tournament or in like online, and like you just have to figure out how to fight them without actually learning their tools. Like it's just like a pain in the ass, really. You get the like. I think this is the smart way to do it, and I appreciate Rivals 2 for doing that. But yeah, Echoes of Wisdom. I guess, man, if that ain't a glowing review, if that ain't a damning review of Echoes of Wisdom, is that I was about to talk about it, and then I remembered more shit to say about another game I liked more. Is that Echoes of Wisdom, the opening hour, and this is the problem I have with so much modern Zelda, the opening hour of Echoes of Wisdom is absolutely fucking fantastic. It's a peak. It's so fucking good. Right, you start the game, Zelda escapes, you start the game as Link, and Link, he's got all these moves you can do, and then you fight Ganon, and then Link frees Zelda, and then Zelda has to run away and meets this new mysterious person, and then she talks to the king about it, but then the king gets corrupted by the same force that consumed Link, and now you're just like, oh shit, okay, so this thing is just consuming the world and shit, and then the king, the evil king, tells all the guards that Zelda is bad, and to lock up Zelda, and then you have to play this tense escape sequence. And then Impa shows up, and Impa kicks ass and saves you, and then you have to escape, and now you're a wanted fugitive. You're the princess of the fucking land, and you're a wanted fugitive. And then you have to save Hyrule despite this. It feels like the tension couldn't be higher. I was like, this is a really good way to organically make Princess Zelda feel like the odds are fucking stacked against her. And then you fight Link, and then you fight Link then you have to fight like Demon Link or whatever with and he has the sword, and you just have whatever fucking things you can find, and it feels like a legitimately challenging boss fight to deal with. And then you get the sword, and once you get that sword, it's fun for a little bit, and then you start to upgrade the sword, and then it becomes like the go-to easy way to deal with everything, that you could just make a bunch of potions that give you more energy. And then the game kind of falls apart a little bit, because then you get these really busted summons that make you just kind of break the game a little bit. So it's like when you fight, there's no nuance to the fighting anymore, because you could just turn into Sword Link and just clear everything, or just, summon the 5 really busted summons and then fight alongside those. It's just like the game becomes less interesting as it goes along. And this is how it's been with Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. The opening of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild are so fucking good. They start off and you're just like, damn, this is like the best game I've ever played. And then the longer you play it, as the world opens up and becomes open world, it just loses that spark immediately. It's so fucking sad, because I think Zelda can create these really poignant experiences when they limit what the player is capable of. And even Tears of the Kingdom does this in a way. At the very end, it understands, like, to make a good Ganon boss fight, you can't just cheese Ganon with a lot of bullshit. You actually have to fight him like a fucking man or whatever. And it makes that Ganondorf boss fight feel like really fucking good. I really love that Ganondorf boss fight. It's fantastic. It's the best part of Tears of the Kingdom by far. And unfortunately, Echoes of Wisdom's final boss is kind of dog shit. Like, I'm not going to lie. It starts off so promising. I remember being like hyping up the game and be like, oh my God, this is so good. It's such a great Zelda game. And yet I should have known. I should have fucking known they'd blow it somehow, because they always fucking blow it. I feel so fucking rageful just because I really do like a lot of early Zelda games. And Link's Awakening doesn't even have this problem. So playing the Link's Awakening remake, I was like, wow, this is awesome. I love Zelda. And then playing all the other Zelda games that came out in recent memory, other than Link Between Worlds, which is legitimately fantastic. All these other games have the same problem over and over again, where they want to give player a lot of freedom and expression, when honestly, like, giving the player a lot of freedom, let's be real here, it's a bit of a buzzword. Like, giving the player the illusion of freedom is more important than actually giving the player freedom. If the player feels like they came up with a solution on their own, that feels really good. But also, just like, good dungeon design is good. And thankfully, Echoes of Wisdom does actually have proper dungeons, unlike fucking Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which are just a bunch of crap. Like, I'm sorry. I even enjoy the dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom a lot more than the ones in Breath of the Wild. But, like, I can't fucking lie to you. Like, that shit didn't count. But yeah, no, proper dungeons in Echoes of Wisdom. The dungeons are the highlight of the game. It's the open world that really, like, kind of hinders the enjoyment I have, because you can kind of skip so much of it, and a lot of the stories they try to tell are not that interesting in it. Zelda has always had pretty basic stories, I suppose, but some of those early Zeldas really set the bar really high, like Majora's Mask and shit, and even Wind Waker, and even Twilight Princess, and even Skyward Sword. Hell, even Link Between Worlds did some really cool shit with its story that Echoes of Wisdom starts doing something really interesting with. Like, I really enjoy what it starts to do. And then by the end of it, it just kind of peters out a little bit, and it's kind of annoying. And I don't fuck with that. But whatever. Echoes of Wisdom, I think it's worth $60 personally. I still enjoyed my time with it. It was fun to dick around with. You could do some really cool shit with it. I cheesed the boss once, and it felt like awesome. I don't know. I enjoy it. Obviously, you can build like flying machines and shit with it because it's a sandbox game. You can completely break the game. I didn't figure out a lot of the game broken. Like, I honestly didn't even. I never copied the cloud, so I just used the different technique to climb shit. I feel like if I knew about the cloud, it would definitely ruin my enjoyment of the game a little bit more. But whatever. I didn't fucking have to deal with the cloud, so no biggie. But yeah, Echoes of Wisdom was pretty fun. That being said, it's not the best game in the Zelda franchise by far. It's not even the best 2D Zelda. It's not even up there with the best 2D Zeldas. But it has a lot of sauce at the beginning, and that does give it a lot of points. I have to say, I really enjoyed those opening hours of Zelda, and I don't want that to like go forgotten, that they really cooked there. They really told an interesting opening there. And I just think Nintendo needs to change how they direct Zelda, because I feel like this open world approach to Zelda is a good idea on paper. I just don't think in execution. I think execution they just had something better with the OG Zeldas. So we'll see if they fix their lessons and shit, because it's not like these games are unplayable. They're not the worst things ever. They're not the worst Zelda games even. I feel like we are so spoiled by the fact that there were some really goated Zelda games that you have this fucking like. You have just a couple okay games, and all of a sudden it's just like, wow, these are the fucking worst. Grr, I can't believe how they tarnished my fucking... Like, guys, they're not that bad. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Tears of the Kingdom is $70, but, hey, I bought it for $60 because I got the GameStop. I got the lucky pre-order GameStop after never pre-ordering games, so I was able to snag it for $60, so I felt pretty good about that. But, yeah, anyways, next up is Super Mario Land. I don't really have much to say about this. It's Super Mario Land. I beat it in an hour. It's not a hard game at all. It's really short. I remember getting to the Tonga and being like, wait a minute, that's it? This is the final boss? We're sure we're not like halfway through? Nope, it really just takes like an hour to beat, 30 minutes, I think. I just saw it was on my Switch, and I was like, Super Mario Land, that's the one. The OG Super Mario Land is like one of the ones I haven't played yet. One of the few Mario games I haven't played. I've played basically every Mario game, and this was just it. This is like the one I hadn't like gotten around to. And then I beat it. Now I could say I've played every mainline Mario game, I think. No, I guess I did play New Super Mario Bros. 2. That's the one I haven't played yet. I've played every other one though, so whatever. I'll get around to New Super Mario Bros. 2 eventually. I guess I haven't played 3D Land either. Okay, I guess I'm a fake ass 3DS fan. I didn't even play 3D Land. I'll have to borrow my friend's 3DS again my good friend Reggie to play this game 3D World, New Super Mario Bros. 2, because I heard it was a good game. I just like Mario. I'm a sucker for Mario. Mario's my guy. He's my silly rabbit. He's my right-hand arm man. I trust him with my life. Yeah. Did Peglin come out this year? If Peglin came out this year, it might be my game of the year indie game. I have played a lot of good games this year overall. Peglin is really fucking good though. Like, Peglin is fucking awesome. I was addicted to it. I played that shit for like a half a month, and I was just like, I gotta stop. Like, I can't be playing this shit no more. I beat a couple runs of it, and I was just like, all right, that's it. I have to call it a day. I can't be doing this shit no more. It's a roguelite. And it's a Peggle roguelite, and I'm addicted to Peggle. I'm a fucking Pegger, okay? I love Peggle. So Pegglin being Peggle is like, I was just hooked. I was just sitting there like getting fat, just like go, running the motions, playing Peggle and shit. All that to say, yeah, it's really good. So, and it plays a little funny guy. I like the enemies. I like the board designs. I like that there's a degree of randomness, but it's not completely random. There's a lot of really clever level design. I never had the same run twice. I really like all the unique balls and all the unique attributes of it. I like you can upgrade them. I like the money system. I think the money system in Peglin is maybe one of the best like currency systems I've ever played in a roguelike. So I got to give it to that. I think they really nailed the idea of like feeling like a fucking genius when you nail a billion peggle lines and shit, and you get pegged and it feels like awesome. And I love that when you throw, this is such a small detail, I love when you throw the ball, when you shoot the ball, the cursor goes from like a goblin's finger to like a goblin crossing his fingers, just to be like, oh shit, oh I really hope this goes where I want it to. It's such a good feeling because it's like that's exactly how you fucking feel when you play Peggle. You're not really doing an insane strategy. You have this like idea of where it could go, and you hope to fucking god that it pays off. And when it does, you feel like a fucking god. And when you don't, you just like, yeah, that's about right. It didn't pay off. Of course it didn't. But like, yeah, sometimes you get the fucking run of your life. When you get the run of your life, it feels fucking amazing. And I got the run of my life once, and I was just like, all right, I got the run of my life. I don't have to play this anymore. I did the best, and it was a great feeling. Peglin, fantastic game. I hope it comes out with new stuff because I really enjoyed it. I didn't 100% it either. I just need to stop playing it because I have more games I have to play. Otherwise, I'll just play it forever. And then Mario 64 Co-op, 10 years later. This was a really challenging ROM hack, but it was really fun. It's another one of those like Kaizo hacks. It's Super Mario 74, yeah. 10 years later, and it was a really challenging hack, and I played it with my good friend Kaze, and I think my good friend Reggie also joined. And there goes my tea, and I think they both joined and made that shit really something special. It might be one of my favorite ROM hacks. It has a really fantastic ending. I definitely live streamed a lot of it, so you can definitely find. I definitely think I Star Revenge 7, I think I live streamed, as well as Lug's Diphodoramas. So you can like find those on my channel if you want to like see what I thought more about them in the moment. But and I think I did the same with Super Mario 74, but I don't really remember. But one of the jokes I made in one of my streams was that it was an Anton Blast stream, and it was my most popular stream of the year. And so knowing that, I finally did actually play Anton Blast, not even on stream. I just played it by myself. It was a gift copy from one of my friends. And whoa, that was quite the burp. Anyways, I played Anton Blast, and I had an Anton Blast. It was a fantastic game. I don't think it's Pizza Tower level, but very few things are. Pizza Tower is one of my favorite games of all time, and that does not come lightly. Pizza Tower is like the exact game I need. It is my favorite speedrun game. It is, other than Mario World. When you are cooking in it has this insane flow to it. Everything just flows super well. And Anton Blast, things flow. You can cook speed wise, but it is a more contemplative exploration puzzle game than Pizza Tower, which Pizza Tower is a speed game. At least that's what it eventually became, was a speed game. Anton Blast, there is a combo version of the level, but I just didn't really feel like that was the kind of game I wanted to play. Again, it treats itself more like a Wario Land 4 than anything else. It is literally Wario Land 4 2. Like, it is the closest thing. I literally look at this and I'm just like, this is Wario Land 4 2. Down to the vibes. Like, everything about it feels so Wario Land 4. It's crazy. The weird music choices, all the strange power-ups and ways that they just fuck with the player. I really enjoy that kind of shit. I like that you buy these glasses and you think they're going to go on the fucking character, and then they just cover up the screen and you just can't see shit unless you turn them off. And that's such a fun little detail. Obviously, and also Anton Blast has my wife in it, Annie Blast. The greatest female protagonist in maybe any video game ever. So it has that going for it. Literally Wario if he was a girl, and not in the like, oh, you know, haha, I'm so cute. No, this is a gremlin. This is an evil bitch. Okay, we love Annie Blast here. We love goofy, insane women. All right, and you know, Anton also fits that role. I love that. Just like in Wario Land 4, there's just a bunch of useless shit that really just adds the charm of the game. I like that there's just a scream button. You could just scream whenever the fuck you want, and I love doing that. It's so fucking funny. You could just fucking scream. It reminds me of how in Mario 64 Co-op we have this mod installed that lets you do the California dance, the California girls, the dun 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 dun, and it does the dance from I think it's like Friday the 13th, the game or whatever. And you could just do it for like a frame. You could just like do it and it'll play like the slider version of California Girls for like a little frame, and you do a little dance for just like a brief second, and then you could just cancel out of it immediately. And it's just so fucking funny to just do it when no one expects you to do it, because it's just like it is. You could just live YouTube poop shit, and I think that's a very important thing. And Anton Blast has that shit. You could just scream for like a second or just keep screaming forever. It is a good thing to have, and I like that. And I think that is a element to Anton Blast that makes it really stand out as a game that is just worth my fucking time, you know? That all being said, Anton Blast is not without its faults. I found the final boss, while a really cool idea, to kind of drag a little bit. Like, it's a little challenging, and not in like the intuitive way, personally. But I do like that it's Gianni Monti, whatever his name is, you know, the Italian dude, the funny voice actor man, from Ultra Hill, and I have recently found a newfound respect for Gianni because he just wants to calm images of that scaly girl from what's the game? It's the first person shooter. Quake, I think, or Unreal Tournament. It's one of those two. And he's so fucking based for that. He's so fucking true. I love him for that, and I think that's how I'm going to end it, because that's every game I played this year. And Resi 5 I did play this year, and Resident Evil 5 is a very important game to me. Resident Evil 5 is one of my new favorite games of all time. However, I must say, I have to talk about it in its own video. I can't do it justice with a ramble. I have to actually talk about it. Expect that soon, maybe. Who knows?